Hi, good morning. My name is Scott Forcino. I'm with eXp Realty, and we are the founders of PlugIntro.com, which is in all areas a local business development platform. We offer individuals, both realtors, lenders, and the people that they work with, an individual video interview series within each of their own local business platforms. So it's really powerful, and it's a great way to reach others in your community, be part of the business members and your own contacts. Today we have Bart Troiano, who is a lender. He's a licensed loan officer, and I want to say good morning and see what Bart has to tell us today. Good morning, Bart.
Good morning, Scott. Thanks for having me, man. This is great.
I'm happy to have you here. And would you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and what areas you work with, and who's a good person to work with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I work here at the Federal Savings Bank. I'm based in Melville. So the cool thing is I do have 50 state licensing power. I don't try to spread myself too thin. I really try to focus here in the Long Island market. But it's been nice if people are moving out of state. Like for instance, I have a deal now that we're working with the realtor. She's listing the home and they're moving down to Florida. So I'm able to help them make sure that they're getting a smooth transaction going down there. The realtor still cares about her client, wants to make sure they're being taken care of. So I'm able to help with that. And then, yeah, man, I'm really just looking to be a little more than the average lender. I know a lot of people complain that people don't answer their phone. They have a hard time getting offers accepted. I like to go above and beyond, right? So, I'm not coming with any fancy objects. I'm just going to do the best thing possible for your client, for you specifically, right? So, I'm really looking to stand out. And, getting here on PlugIntro is the first step to doing that. And I'm excited to move forward with this.
That's great. I know for the lenders and the title companies and those other professions that serve and work alongside agents, PlugIntro is the way to offer and provide an opportunity for agents to inform us and their contacts and their local audience how they serve clients best. And that's where I extended it into the people that work closely with them. So let me know, what has been your experience in this market with assisting agents getting their buyers' offers accepted? I know that's a real big topic.
Yes. So it's been difficult. I think everyone's kind of feeling the heat of that. So a couple of things. One, as far as just loan officer attitude, right? If your loan officer isn't calling that listing agent, putting in a good word for that buyer, informing them exactly this is rent through underwriting. They're very strong. They have very good credentials. This loan will close. You need that, right? You need your loan officer to get involved. They should be on the phone with the listing agent, right? So that's number one. And number two, I don't know if every bank has this. My bank does. So we do. It's called the Express Loan Program. So what we can do is prior to you committing that offer, we can have you fully ran through underwriting and committed to loan to you, right? Now that's different to most times you'll go through, it's called DU, which is just an automated Fannie Mae quick underwrite. Let's say accept, approve. Okay, good, pre-approval. Now we're going to do that as well, but we're also going to send you through our manual underwrite, which every bank must do, as well as that automatic one. So you're going to be fully underwritten, approved for your standards, for your income, for your credit as you lie. So when you make that offer, that listing agent might take you because you might have a little less, but it's closing because you've been underwritten already. So it's been very strong and it's been helping us out quite a bit.
Well, I think that's amazing, and that's something I didn't know. So basically, you have a commitment, and do you have any if there are any stipulations? I would say you can satisfy them, during the early phase of the contract status.
Right. As long as everything is disclosed on the application, as it lies right now, we are committed to lending to you when we go through this program, right? So it's very strong.
Well, in New York and in Long Island as well, there's a 45-day period. I'm sure you're aware of the mortgage contingency that's standard.
Right.
And I would think that really would make your customer and the realtor's buyer a much stronger candidate. I'm impressed with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's been the experience of listing agents appreciated that, or do they want to hear from loan officers?
Yeah. So it depends, right? We all know this industry. If you know the industry well, there's a lot of personalities. Some will give you the shoulder, but listen, at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for your client, right? Which is my buyer and the realtor partner I'm working with on the transaction. So I need to make that call regardless. Do they all want to get it? No, because they're like, listen, I have the offers. I'll let you know, but I'm going to make the call anyway. I'm going to let them know because that could be the difference, right? They hear my voice. They hear the voice behind the pre-approval. They understand that it's not just a fluff pre-approval. I, back up my buyer, let them know the relationship I have with them, let them know that I've done it carefully. It's been written. So, does everyone want that call? No. Listing agents can get a little, push offy, shove offy, where they don't really want to hear. They get, listen, I have the offers, I'm good. but some appreciate it and then actually get some offers accepted because they understand that that's valuable. So,
well, I think that's a little bit crazy. I think that the listing agent should always want to get as much information as they can on each individual buyer's offer, because you're protecting the seller. What if they make a mistake and pick someone with really a lesser capability to closing, and they ignored you and with another buyer's fantastic credit report or qualifying standards? It's a bad approach.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And how have you made that known to buyers and the buyer's agents?
Well, I think I try to set, I don't give them the exact word for word how it's going to go as we proceed. I let them know, listen, I'm going to go above and beyond for you. I'm going to do what I need. So how I set that up in the beginning is they kind of get that vibe from me, right? I'm calling them about every little detail. I get on a point where, where they want to be communicated with is how I'm going to communicate with them. So if they want an update, the buyer's agent wants an update every day, I'll give them an update every day. If they want an update once a week, I'll give them an update once a week. So they know that I'm going to do the things that have to be done, right? Whether I want to, whether I don't want to, I'm going to do them. So I think just setting that precedent early with the buyer's agent helps them understand that, he's going to make that call to help me out, whether it be a listing agent or the attorney or whatever the case is. He's shown me that he's going to do those things. So I think just setting that early has kind of been the difference maker. And that's how I want to continue moving forward.
I'll tell you, I think that's impressive. I think that extra effort is impressive. So in this case, what's your remark about these rates? All we're hearing about is, the bad news that hit 4%. And, what do you see as far as the immediate future?
Yeah, I mean, listen, so rates are going to do what rates do. It's a little scary because with the last 2 years, we've had this expectation of low rates. It's pricing a lot of buyers into the market who may not have been. This is how it goes. I haven't been around that long in this industry, but anyone who has, all the veterans in my office, listen, this is just what we do, right? There's market cycles. Are they going to drop down back to 2? No, I don't think so. With the inflation, with the Fed movement and everything, we're going to stay around this, maybe a little higher. And it might price some people out. It's just a cold hard fact of it. But the reality is people need to buy homes. People need us to help them. That's never going to stop, right? So, I just try to be aware where rates are. If I have loans in process, hey, we should lock the rate now, but I don't let it get in my head. I don't let it get in buyer's head. I'm like, listen, if you can still afford it, it's, we're not talking about 12% loans that they used to be, right? I mean, we're still at 4 or 5%. We're not at 5 yet, but we're at 4. So, it's scary for people because where the expectations have been, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't see it being a huge deal. It's not going to benefit everybody, but it's something we need to deal with.
Let me ask you this, as far as, get down to brass tacks on a $300,000 loan, what's the difference in a monthly payment between 3.5 and 4? Just a ballpark.
It's going to be ballpark $200-$300 or so. So it's going to be a couple $100, right? So it's definitely going to price people out because when you have those tight ratios, that can be the end mark to get you above that. Whether you're doing conventional or FHA, whatever program you're doing, that could be the factor to get you up above where you need to be. It's a factor. There's no doubt about it. It's a factor, but it just, it needs to be addressed from the beginning. The right expectations need to be set. And listen, if you've done a pre-approval, unless, the loan officers, realtors, if you have people in your pipeline now who haven't rechecked in the last couple of weeks, I would check on them because there could very good possibility that things have changed now with rates being up. They might have been quoted something early on. Let's say you quoted them mid-January, early January. Those circumstances have now changed, so you need to rerun their credit,
right. And I'll tell you what, that should be of the most interest to sellers because they think they get into a deal with someone who can complete based on a prior rate. Not everyone locks their rate. What's the longest rate lock you're going to do? 60? 60 days?
Yeah, 60. Anything past that is, whenever you're hedging against the market like that, it gets very expensive. So it even prices people out. You're paying a point up front.
Right. So what would happen if someone's really, really close on the, what do you call it, debt to income ratios?
Right. Correct.
What would happen if someone does that and then they no longer qualify? Then you have to get, lawyers involved and say that you can no longer. Now, here's the bad news. Yes, the buyer may get out, so they're safe, but the seller just lost all those other possible candidates, someone who has, really an ability to pay. Now, this is why it's crazy in my mind. The guy who's on the bubble might offer $20,000 more and can't complete the deal, where someone offered $20,000 less and can get to the finish line with flying colors. But the seller was thinking about the money and not really about the internal aspect of the deal. It's scary.
Right, exactly. And that's actually something you see with FHA buyers a lot. A lot of people see FHA and they immediately dismiss it. They want the conventional. And, I understand because it's a little bit of a harder underwrite. It takes a little longer sometimes. But the reality is, if that FHA buyer only has 30,000, but you're putting it all down and they cover and they have a beautiful W-2 record, a beautiful credit, they're going to have no problems. And then you get that 20% conventional just because they're sitting on a lump sum of cash. Maybe they're self-employed. Maybe they have some sketchy tax business. And, you don't really know.
Right.
So I think that's why it's important for the lender to communicate with sellers and really understand situations, not just, the surface of it.
Yeah, communication, education, and really collaboration, all the Asians is super important, because within a deal, I think that the monkey wrench. Here's what's interesting. I want to talk about relationships and who you've worked with. If you watch the Super Bowl, they were really pushing at least one or two commercials with online lenders. So you get nobody in particular. And if you really notice that all the money on Wall Street and all the venture capital is pushing consumers directly to lenders and cutting out the referral sources, predominantly agents. So it's my view that these types of really, really deep personal relations and with trust and communication are paramount now more than ever. Because I'll tell you, between the time I started till now, relationships were everything, and now they're not everything. There's people have access on their phones, and it may be less than accurate, just the way Zillow is, but it's not zero. So people can actually get a loan off their phone. So to me, what I'll tell you, what do you think you can do with this PlugIntro platform to really make yourself more valuable to agents and their success?
Yeah, listen, everything is going online, right? The consumer wants easy now. You want to make a delivery to your house for food. You don't even want to pick up the phone. You want to click buttons. That's just, the way the economy is going, the way consumers are moving. So you need to be able to accommodate to that, right? Do I think that the online lenders are going to take over? No, because they don't have trust in the market. Because of their lack of service, they put everything into marketing. They're not really taking care of the customers. They're not worried about you closing because they need 5 of you to even make a dollar. So, I don't worry too much about them specifically, but in the same breath, you have to be online. You have to have a presence. You need to make things easy. And now, like you're saying with PlugIntro, which is a beautiful thing, which is why I'm happy to be part of this, is you get in front of these people in the same ad that the Rocket Mortgage is showing that they might get, spewed to go check that out. They'll see me in the next scroll, right? They'll see me with a realtor, see me on this platform talking about what the service-based approach is going to be much more beneficial to them than going with the easy Rocket Mortgage, who may not close their loan, who's going to pitch you a rate that doesn't exist, right? So just getting in front of people that are getting harassed by these ads and by these, $1 million market budgets with these big companies, I think it's important to kind of stress the service aspect, because, at the end of the day, these transactions are never easy, and it's important to have the good service.
Yeah. Well, again, these online lenders, two things are true. They don't want any cooperation. They want to go straight to the consumer, one.
Right.
And they're also offering nothing to anyone. The contractual relationship is you borrow, they fund, but they're not giving. In a situation like you as a lender, you are selecting the agents that you wish to promote. You're providing something that they never had. Within your PlugIntro platform, you are offering a chance to agents to be local famous and to gain a piece of the market share, gain exposure in the local community that other lenders either aren't doing and the online lenders don't care about. They're not looking to build a connection where a phone call at 9 o'clock about something as important as a transaction is even possible. It seems that the buyers and the agents that are in those deals are giving up a lot. They're giving up the most important part of it, and that's the comfort.
Right.
They're almost enduring the ordeal. Will the consumer come through? And they're not even involved. That talk about a lack of trust from a listing agent. You put your sellers in that position, and you really don't know if it's going to close.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just they really have no purchase credentials at this point in the market. Will they get better? They should. But they thrive in the refinance environment. That's why they had the big 2020 year. You saw all the ads running because they don't got to deal with anybody, right? They're strictly with the consumer. They give them the rate, and it is what it is. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they can adapt. But in the meantime, it's important for people like me and realtors and whatnot just to stay in that service base, let people know what's important, and continue to kind of give the value in that sense.
Mm-hmm. Have you worked with agents now? What are the things you've done? I know the communication, but Has there been a chance between you and your other referral partners to exchange referrals within the individual categories of real estate professionals? Have you done that with home inspectors, et cetera?
Yeah, so I have some friends who are financial advisors. They come to me with some people who might need a refinance because they have some title issues. I see a couple of those. Of course, as a lender, I'm always going after the realtors, trying to create that value. I'm still kind of in the process of building those relationships, so I'm not getting overwhelmed with referrals yet. But I'm getting the chances, right? I come to say, listen, I know you know people. I want to show you that I can do better as far as going above beyond, right? I mean, you might have someone who's getting a little lackadaisical. They don't go above and beyond with the calls, with the showing up to the house, like whatever it takes, I'll do. I have, I don't have a million people to serve at this point. I'm here to serve you, and I'll do that for you. So I want to show you that. So, I'm starting to get some things from realtors as far as, hey, this client's had trouble with some other lenders. Can you give them a shot? And then I'll, let's say they have credit issues, right? And most people would just say, listen, sorry, credit's not there. What I'll do is I'll go in their credit. I have some what if simulators. I can say, if you pay this off, if you do that, you can get to the score. So I'll work with them, right? I'll take the couple of months to really nurture them and have them get their credit where they want to be so they could buy. So, I'm just kind of getting what I can at this point to show the service I'm going to get. And, it's kind of starting to pay off, and I'm looking forward to continuing to do that.
Yeah. I mean, in our private discussion, I remember you mentioned that there's a real interest on your part to co-brand and offer something to these agents that you select that you think are really competent and appropriate to meet your contacts and the contacts that result from those folks.
Right.
And to me, there's really no better way for someone like yourself who works with agents to meet them or to thank them, because you're giving them something, and really you don't have competition, especially in your area where nobody is giving agents a place and a way to promote themselves. It's a unique position, and I think you're a really sharp kid to get involved in this early on in your career, because there's really no better way for everyone to collaboratively meet new people and in a positive working setting such as this.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. At the end of the day, I mean, anyone in the business knows that the more people you know, the more conversations you have, the more trust you build, the better results you'll get, now in the future. So putting it on, like we've been talking about, bringing it online, having the phone calls, having the coffees is, still there, but getting online, doing things like this is super important. So I definitely see it benefiting me in the future.
Yeah. I mean, and keep in mind, half the country still has winter every year. And COVID showed us that there is a real ability to do things remotely. It took away so many inconveniences, like parking, like, putting miles on your car and having needless office meetings, and really
right,
just
exactly.
If you look at the waste that was involved in our lives before, office space alone is not what it was. So this, I think PlugIntro is in line with our society, whether it's because it's cloud-based, it's owned by the users. This is open for everyone. And it's on demand. I mean, this gives you a chance at 7:00 at night. And, the realtors are serving their clients till all hours. And the people, if they're buying or selling, they sure want to hear what's going on in their deal at all hours. And people
Right.
are doing this, even myself, until the kids go to bed, it's open season. Maybe then you have a break once they go to bed, then you can start having your day.
If your deals are smooth, right? If you're lucky.
and then if you don't, you're worrying the whole weekend. Well, listen, I'm real happy that you're involved. I mean, plugintro.com is where we are. We're in these Facebook groups. Bart is going to have his own platform with each and every agent he invites. Sophie and her staff really makes everything happen. All the introductions, all the invitations, all the instructions for success. Our commitment is to grow every user's local exposure to be local famous. It should be the situation where everyone is a go-to resource for their services. So I'm really excited. Bart's going to be a great contributor. And if you're a realtor that hears this, understand that Bart is the one who thinks enough to include you in this mission, and that is to positively affect others and gain exposure for each of us. So thank you, Bart, for taking a look and coming on board. And we're going to be nurturing and cultivating those relations that you bring aboard.
Awesome, Scott. I appreciate it, man. Looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.